Unmuted. We're good though, right? Whoever's taking it says unmute. My realm of expertise. They didn't train us in this when I got ordination. Probably are now. Season's greetings and Happy New Year. What? Is Christmas coming early this year? You know, I wasn't going to say it, but it's true. It used to be the Christmas decorations came out at least before Halloween. Now they're out at Labor Day, right? So it could be. But no, I wish you season's greetings and Happy New Year, because in the Jewish tradition, now is the holiday season. It's right there in the Bible. I didn't make it up. 4 holidays in a row, which we'll talk about. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret. Aren't they fun names? And, okay, we're 4 in the Bible, but we did add a 5th. So yeah, we are a little crazy. This is our holiday season. 5 holidays within a month. At the new moon of the 7th month is when we celebrate our new year. Now, how bizarre is that? The 7th month. And it's known as Rosh Hashanah. This year, it fell on September 16th. But the new year in our tradition is not celebrated by wild parties and getting drunk. Rather, it has some measure of joyousness, but it follows a month of preparation and inaugurates a 10-day period of introspection known as the 10 days of awe. These 10 days are filled with the work of renewal and what we call teshuvah. Teshuvah, which is so often translated as repentance, is so much more. It literally means returning or responding, returning to our right relationship with God and with others, responding to the divine imperative. The great 20th century civil rights and anti-war activist Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel said that God speaks to us in the form of a question. How we live our lives is the answer. And so these days are filled with reconciling with others, with the I'm sorry's and the I love you's that needed to be said, with restitution that has been put off, with following up on our commitments to others or to the causes of social justice, and so on. Oh, would that we really do this work. Which is why the 10 days culminate with Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, or as some like to say, the Day of At-One-ment. 25 hours of fasting and prayer and deepening of commitment and reminding ourselves that our lives in this coming year are truly affected by the intentions of the present moment, and that our decisions have consequences. And we recognize that some of us, or some of those we love, will not be here at next Yom Kippur. 25 hours of intensity, and ending with a final blast of the shofar, the ram's horn. Watch out. Wake up. It's an exhausting, I can tell you as a congregational leader, it is an exhausting and exhilarating journey. Both. Exhausting, did I say? The very next day, we begin preparations for the next holiday. 40 days we did this, 10 days intensity, 1 day of fasting, and the next day, we're getting ready. Why? Because the week-long festival of Sukkot, known in the Bible as the Feast of Booths or Huts, we have to prepare for it. It's not one of those things that is only spiritual preparation. It's one of 3 ancient festivals that were marked by pilgrimages to Jerusalem. And here we are today, by the way, celebrating the 2nd day of this week-long festival. So it's marked by the building of an autumn harvest hut called a sukkah or a sukkah. In these booths, we have our meals and our celebrations, and some even sleep. One of our customs is to be sure to invite guests, both of this world and also archetypes, to join us in the sukkah. It's indeed a flimsy protection, though, against the elements. In fact, the first night here, it rained. What a blessing. The so-called roof of the sukkah is composed of merely branches, palm or pine, redwood, whatever's available locally. Thank you, Thomas, who brought us our branches this year. Imagine the celebration of the abundance of the autumn harvest, and by extension, all the blessings of our lives, while perched at the precarious season of the upcoming rains. What a reminder of the fragility of our shelters and even of life itself. Perhaps that is why in our tradition, we technically don't pray for rain until the day after the holiday. In a fourth holiday known as Shmini Atzeret, the eighth day of assembly, and the farewell to the sukkah and the holiday season. Now I ask you, some of you know this, have you ever heard of a Jewish goodbye? There's an old joke that goes, Americans sometimes leave and never say goodbye. Jews say goodbye and never leave. As an aside, I did an adult ed with a church that we used to meet at. And we had, it was a two-part series, and we had the gathering. And at the end, the congregants from the church scampered. And the Jews, yak, like for an hour, right? So I told the minister the joke. He said, you gotta tell that to the congregation. So the next week I told the congregation, invite them to stay. They stayed 10 minutes. The Jews, yak, for an hour, right? Jews say goodbye and never leave. And so, to these four holidays, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret, repeat, interesting. Our sages of old added one more, Simchat Torah, the rejoicing of the Torah. At this season of celebrating renewal and joy, we end and begin again the annual cycle of Torah scriptural readings, from beginning to end, because every ending has a beginning. And so it is over the years and generations and millennia, ending and beginning, ending and beginning. This incredible whirlwind of cycling through renewal and introspection to atonement and standing in awe at the cycles of life and death, and we say in Hebrew of death and life. And then going on to celebrating the abundance of blessings and the fragility of life and the awesome power of life-giving and potentially life-destroying rains, and culminating with rejoicing in the sacred scriptures at the foundation of our existence. This whole holiday season is known in Hebrew as Man Simchatenu, the season of our joy. Scripture tells us that misfortune or even calamity may befall us when we do not acknowledge our many blessings and acknowledge them with joy. Deuteronomy chapter 28 relates that the many curses that will befall us happen because we did not offer our devotion in joy and in goodness of heart over the abundance of everything. Because we did not respond with joy over the abundance with which we have been blessed. But what do we mean by joy? Many of us have a sense that there is a difference between joy and happiness. Sometimes we reverse what they mean, but we often have trouble putting our finger on just what that difference is. We're not talking here about merriment or frivolity, which has its place, but rather the deep appreciation of our connection and meaning in life. This is joy. But how? How do we find this joy? In the verses of Deuteronomy preceding this one about joy, we read that our ancestors would return to the land of Israel, and when they do, they should bring a basket of fruit filled with the first fruits, and recite these lines, which we now read during our Passover Seder. My father was a wandering Aramean, but we were saved, brought to this land, prospered, and now I offer this gift in appreciation. A great Hasidic master taught about the so-called first fruits. He said, of everything you come across in the world, take in the godly part that is in it. Absorb the holy intelligence in every single thing which binds it together in patterns of beauty. And know that every single thing has such a first fruit. waiting to be appreciated and connected with. Another Hasidic master asks, but what does it mean to place these first fruits in a basket? And answers, every person should visualize inside themselves a little basket, a receptacle, a place of inner receiving. Into this place, deposit your moments of spiritual appreciation. This inner basket will be a bank of gratitude for all the gifts of the earth. A bank of gratitude for all the gifts of the earth. Does this mean that we cannot come close to meaning and spirituality when we are sad or feeling broken? Absolutely not. For the Psalms tell us that God is close to those broken of heart. But there is a way through. One cannot read of the events these days in Ukraine, or Morocco, or Libya, or Darfur, or Israel, or Maui, without a sense of overwhelm. And yet, on the news, I heard about a woman who had lost so much in the Maui fires. And how did she handle it? She went out to help others who'd lost even more. Studies so clearly show that volunteering, stepping forward to help others, does wonders for our own emotional well-being, and I would add, for our spiritual well-being as well. We cannot easily explain why there is so much unfairness and misfortune in the world, or why good people suffer so. But we can do our part to make a difference. Rabbi Heschel gave us another teaching that continues to inspire us to this day. You can see him in pictures of the great march from Selma to Montgomery with Martin Luther King. He said, I felt as if my legs were praying. On the march from Selma, as if my legs were praying. Doing our part to make a difference, like for Rabbi Heschel and Dr. King, may mean being out there on the march for justice. I was reminded as I prepared my remarks of a song Joan Baez wrote many decades ago, urging Bob Dylan back to anti-war activism. She sang, but we're still marching on the streets with little victories and big defeats, but there is joy and there is hope and there's a place for you. For us, it might be out on a march, or it might be in nature. It might be through dance or through art. It might be preparing food, or it might be bringing food to those in need. It might be through greeting our fellow congregants, and it might be through the power of our song. There is joy, and there is hope, and there's a place for each of us, because there is no spot where God is not. Every place, everything, every person, every moment, every encounter is an opportunity to encounter the sacred. The sacred is all around us and even within us. And so when we wave the lulav in the 6 directions, coming to rest in our center, we remind ourselves the sacred is all around us and even within us. So allow me to conclude with the poem of a beloved rabbi of many years ago, which I once shared with this congregation. He said, Rabbi Shalom, Master of the Universe, I'll sing a song for you, but where will I find you? Where will I not find you? It's all you. Wherever I go and wherever I stay, it's you, only you. When something is good, it's you. When God forbid it's bad, it's you. You. East or west or north or south, you. In heaven above, on earth below, you. Wherever I turn, wherever I go, you. Get it? So thank you for having me today as your guest, and for allowing me to have you as my guests, as it were, in this festival of Sukkot in this season of our joy. So season's greetings and Happy New Year.